Good morning, Trace. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Trace. It sucks because I don't know if you know, but Jason's out of town this week. You know, he's been hyping you up to us for years. We know he's close friends with your family. I just got a couple questions for you. Did you know that Jason, often I guess you guys probably the same thing now, they probably keep an eye on his house, that when your parents are out of town, Jason sometimes I guess is your house, he's to your house, that he recently told us a story that he was in the neighborhood and the wave hit him, and instead of driving home, he just went to your house, went upstairs, dropped a massive deuce, and then he feels so comfortable in your house that he went into the closet, got a towel out, and took a shower in there.
Yeah, I have heard that story once or twice. My mom told me that one, and she wasn't too thrilled about it when she heard about it. He's using our towels and stuff, but it was funny.
That's so gross. So gross. Just give us a little background. How do you guys in the Bishops, how do you guys know each other?
Uncle Jason for me, and my dad and my mom were they were friends in college.
Right.
So they've been friends forever. So I mean, I've known him pretty much my whole life. So that's kind of how the connection came on. Then obviously we're both in Ashburn, living there. So that kind of just we're around all the time. See him probably once a week, twice a week, whatever it might be. So.
That's great. And so, because your dad played football at Richmond, and Jason briefly played basketball there before he was given the heave-ho.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so college career at Penn State. We all know about it. Just all of us, I think, have admired you from afar, your toughness. Everybody talked about that. As the draft has approached and you've been preparing for it, sort of what has been your focus? What round are you hoping to sneak into? Where do you see your future? You know, some have asked you to maybe consider playing another position, and you turned that down. So talk about sort of your whole process, what you've been preparing for, where you hope to go, and your thought on playing another position.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long process, but it's been really good. I feel really good kind of going where I'm at right now. Obviously, you know, I started my training for the Combine down in Florida pretty much right after the bowl game, and then did some training down there, did the Senior Bowl and the Combine, was able to do all those, then I had Pro Day up at State College. But, you know, I'm feeling pretty good right now, all the visits and stuff like that I've done. Everything's sounded pretty positive, all the meetings I've had. As far as, like, what round and that kind of stuff, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint that. No one really knows what's going to happen, and you know, the draft's not an exact science. But so for me, I'm just focused on, you know, staying in shape and working out right now, and being ready for, you know, the workouts I have with teams, and then whenever I do know where I'm going to be at, being ready to go in, and once the rookie mini camps or OTAs start, just being ready and being in shape for those. So that's kind of my main focus right now. I'm not trying to worry about what round I'll end up in the draft. You know, just hoping to be in a good situation when it's all said and done. And you know, really the main focus, you know, kind of throughout this entire process for me has been on being the best player and being the best quarterback that I can be. I know there's been those rumors about playing another position and that kind of stuff. And, you know, for me, all the work that I've put in, the success that I've had has been at the quarterback position, and that's where I see myself. And, you know, going through meetings, that's where a lot of people that I've talked with see myself in the future.
Right.
So for me, that's just kind of been my main focus. And, you know, when I go to do workouts, I'm working on, you know, 5-step, 7-step drops, throwing the ball, and, you know, staying in shape as the doing anything else really. So just staying in good shape, being, you know, still keeping my athleticism and, you know, moving around, agility and all that stuff. But for me, everything's been focused on the quarterback position, and that's kind of where I see myself in the future, and that's kind of where I envision, you know, my career going.
Right. I have a lot of questions for you. When you were at the Combine and you're working out with the other quarterbacks, I assume that if people are going to knock you, it's going to be for size, right? They always like to knock quarterbacks that aren't big, unless you're like a freak like a Kyler Murray. And then I'm guessing arm strength, those sort of the two knocks. And how did you feel you fit in as far as like arm strength goes when you're working out with the other QBs?
Yeah, you know, I think those two things kind of go probably hand in hand for the most part. You know, when you see a quarterback especially, who's not necessarily, you know, got the prototype size that a lot of people have, the next question becomes the arm strength. So for me, you know, when I went out to the Combine, I was, you know, throwing with all the other guys and competing with them. I wanted to show that I could make all the throws that they were making, that I wasn't underthrowing the deep routes or, some of the throws where I had to drive it on him, I was putting good pace on it. And I feel like I did a really good job of that, and kind of through that and through pro day that the ball came off my hand really well. Kind of jumped off my hand, had good pace on it, spun it well, and I kind of was able to disprove some of those concerns that some people might have about arm strength with me.
Jason also said that, obviously, I think your dad coached you, right? Or he's definitely a coach.
Yeah.
Played in college. So, I mean, you're a student of the game. Jason said you told him that the board work that they asked you to do, maybe you can expound on this a little bit, for you was a joke, right? It was super easy.
I mean, I would say it was. I don't want to say it was a joke, but it was good. I think that's something that I put a lot of pride in, is the board work and the football knowledge of the position of the game, knowing defenses, knowing our system at Penn State, like the back, pull up anything, draw up plays, explain situations, have that memory recall and that kind of stuff. So I think that's where, for me, that's what I really love about playing the position. There's obviously all the on-field stuff I love as well, but the stuff that you got to do behind the scenes from a film study standpoint and all those kind of things that really separate good players from great players. That's the kind of stuff that I really love. So when it got to time to do that stuff at the Combine, I was really excited about it. And that's kind of what I had been focused on a lot, is just being able to come in. And that was something that the on-the-field stuff, that everyone's going to have the questions, but I can easily silence all the off-the-field stuff with, my knowledge of the game, leadership ability, and those kind of things. And that's where I believe I really separate myself from the rest of the crowd. So that was where I was just really excited about being able to get on the board with coaches and just talking. I think that's something I love about the game and I love about playing the position.
Joined by Trace McSorley, former Penn State quarterback, NFL draft hopeful. Check out him tonight on Charlie Casserly's draft special on NBC Sports Washington. You obviously don't need to name the teams, but do you have any assurances from teams that you visited with saying, hey, if you're here in this round, we're seriously considering drafting you at that point, or has it not gotten to that point yet?
It really hasn't gotten to that point yet. A lot of teams are just kind of doing their due diligence, trying to find some things out. Obviously, the meetings I've had, there's a lot of teams that are hoping, that I'll be there when, they get an opportunity, if it works out. So, there's been a lot of positive feedback, and leaving some of these visits, a lot of teams have kind of said that, hopefully we can work together in the future, that kind of stuff. But there hasn't really been any kind of assurance. Kind of like I said, the draft is not an exact science. So no one really knows what's going to happen until, you get to that day. So that's kind of one of the things that, people are just kind of going to, wait around and see what's going on. But so there really hasn't been assurances, but, everything that I've heard has been pretty positive.
It's got to be I don't know, it's probably pretty cool, man. You're going around visiting all these teams. They're blowing you up. They're telling you how good you are. I mean, they're not going to trash you, right? I mean, you're going to go in there. They might have some tough questions if you've had any sort of off-the-field issues, but that's never been an issue with you. So I'm assuming you're going in there, Trace, and everyone's just telling you how great you are. You got to feel like a rock star leaving these spots.
Yeah, sometimes it does get pretty cool. It's kind of one of these times where you're going through and, you've been dreaming about this moment, since the time I was a little kid, for me specifically. So, it's definitely pretty cool to go in and meet with these coaches and do well in these workouts and get good feedback from them and kind of leave with a good feeling, knowing that you gave yourself, another opportunity and you were able to impress some people.
So are you expected, like in most of these visits, so you did the Combine, you did your pro day, are they looking for you to work? So you're constantly working out for these guys?
Yeah, some of them. There's rules that the NFL has as far as like where you can work out and stuff like that. So there has been a lot of workouts, a lot of similar things. Obviously, you do Combine and then you go pro day.
Right.
But then you can do some of these where if you're close to a team, or they call them local days, where you can go and they can bring you in to work you out in their facility in front of their coaches and stuff. So
like the Redskins. Like the Redskins could bring you in, no problem.
Yeah, well, because I'm from Ashburn, that would give them. Yeah, they could bring me in to do a workout with the Skins there.
Have you done that?
I haven't been with Washington yet, no.
Yeah, how many teams have you met with?
I've met with I think 8 so far.
Wow.
What's the weirdest question you were asked in one of the interviews by one of the teams, either at the Combine or an individual visit? Does anything jump out?
Not really. I never got any, crazy questions. I mean, they as I was going through the process of preparing for the Combine, they, gave all these, be prepared for, these kind of questions, like, what kind of boxers do you wear or something like that, just to kind of see what,
Right.
See how you
the
respond.
kind of person you are, or whatever it is. Yeah, how you respond to those kind of things. But I never really got any of those questions. There's a lot of the personality type questions. There's so many hours of psychological tests and that kind of stuff that you end up going through at the combine, and that let teams get whatever they're looking for out of those.
Now, you know this, Trace, that no matter what happens in your professional career, and hopefully you have a long career, you're always going to be a legend and an icon at Penn State. I mean, you've already, in essence, made it, right? What's that feel like? I mean, you're never going to have to pay for a beer again for the rest of your life when you go back there, right? You're never going to have to I would go there for free haircuts all the time. I mean, dinner, right? What's that like to be now an icon for the rest of your life with Penn State?
No, it definitely is pretty cool. When I came to Penn State, it was my goal, successful career, and then for everything to kind of pan out how it has, and having won Big Ten championships and the things we were able to do as a team here, it's really cool to now kind of be when it's all said and done, especially now that the NCAA can't have their grip over everything, that I can now accept a free beer or something like that. It is pretty cool to be able to go out and kind of have those kind of perks. But it's been a dream come true being at Penn State for me. Being able just to come back here for the spring game the other day and just being on the other side of it. It was a little weird, not suiting up for the first time, but it was cool just to be back and still kind of feel the love from the crowd and the energy here in State College.
How often you go to that ice cream spot there? Everybody, oh my God, the lines at the dumb ice cream spot place. Did you go there all the time?
No, yeah. I would go there every now and then.
Right.
Not too much. I tried. The good thing for us is at our training table they would bring tubs of it in.
Oh.
So I never really had to go over there if I.
Yeah, it's brought to them.
Yeah.
So great. Well, listen, Trace, we've heard a lot of you from afar. Good with this process. I hope it works out awesome for you. And when Uncle Jason is back on the show, and maybe after the draft, we'll get you back on, and we'll kind of recap it all and see where you stand.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Thanks so much.
Really appreciate it. Congrats, man.
Thanks, Trace.
Thank you.
Okay,
appreciate
buddy.
it.
It's former Penn State legendary quarterback Trace McSorley. You can check him out tonight on Charlie Casserly's draft special on NBC Sports Washington. Also, I Am the Prospect on NBCSportsWashington.com. That is available.
That's somebody
Thursday.
you root for right
Pulling
there.
for him.
Local kid, done well, got a nice tie into the show and to Jason. That's somebody I'm rooting for.
Absolutely.
Big time.